What's going on, everybody? This is Ketchup. I did say that Darius was next on the arcade runs, and I absolutely meant it. But this time over, we're playing Darius on Mortal Kombat Deception. I would say that it is his most standout entry. And to be fair, I could have definitely done that with Li Mei, as in this game, she actually has some really high combo damage. And some of the biggest combos I think you could say any character has, so maybe that's a story for another time. However, when it comes to Darius in this game, the reason I played him in Deception is there are a couple of things that make him stand out. Sadly, he doesn't really stand out that much in Armageddon, whereas here, there are a couple of things, not intentional, that make him a bit more individual. Now, when it comes to special moves, what really had me playing Darius again in 3D is the fact that Darius is in Mortal Kombat 1 as a cameo. Now, at this point, we do not know how or what in terms of moves and abilities and whatever else, but looking at the 3D side of this character, there actually isn't a massive amount to work with. As you've probably seen in this video already, Darius has a projectile, he has that spinning kick, which I would kind of suggest is his most unique special move. The others are a little bit more, he's got like 2 dash punches, one of which has a sidestep, the other one just goes straight forward, and he's got a projectile. Now, the gauntlets, which are his weapon in this game, we haven't seen that in Mortal Kombat 1 at all, so I'm going to assume they are not in there. But I didn't do the thing about Darius that makes him a little bit busted in this game. You will be seeing that in a couple of matches. I might even have done it here. Darius is one of the characters in Deception that can take advantage of the unintended bugs, which in turn became mechanics, the main one being OTGs. And I will never understand or get used to OTGs in this game. As you can see, launch, and then you finish it. Doesn't look like a combo, but would you believe me if I told you that the launcher after that throw was guaranteed? Because it is, and it's so bizarre. That going into the next round kind of cracked me up a little bit when I was recording this, because it looks like I gently threw Baraka back down to the floor so we could start the next round. But yes, OTGs, I've covered them time and time again on this channel. But I will quickly remind, the idea of it is when an opponent gets knocked down from certain hits, whether it's a splat, whether it's a throw, when they're standing up, they're vulnerable for just a small amount of time, and if you're using the right attack, you can hit them for free as they're standing up. Now, that will normally scale the combo like mad. There are some characters that have true infinites thanks to the OTG mechanic, but it will scale the combo to the point where you're basically doing not even 1% damage per hit. But that is a clear indication that your OTG was successful. It works a bit different here for Darius, because the first attack that allows you to OTG with a launcher, in this case it's weapon standing 3, it's a single hit, so there's no scaling to be had, and because they've been, caught early, all of that combo damage basically just gets added on top to what is already a decent throw. And when I look at Darius mechanically, Backbreaker, I would say, is the most memorable attack. And it's kind of weird to say, because it's memorable not because of the animation or anything, it's just what it grants him in his debut game. If you look at any of the 3D Mortal Kombat players, if they talk about Darius, they'll generally say, oh yeah, you just do the, you would just do your throw into a launch into a basic string and do half a life for a single throw. But believe it or not, that's not even the best throw in this game, but look at the animation, that's sick. I love it. Oh yeah, he does the Harakiri! Look away! Why he do that? Why does he do that? Why does he just inflate himself? I'd say how does he inflate himself, but this is the master of all things gas and flatulence, so perhaps I shouldn't ask. This next arena is really cool. I really enjoy this stage. It's really simple. It's just a circle with ring out on the entire outside. But there's just something about the animation. I won't spoil it, just in case anyone has yet to see it. But yeah, at this point when you're Darius, you're always fishing for that throw, because look, I've just done 48% damage to my opponent because they got hit by a single throw. And I definitely think that Deception had the complete lockdown on broken grabs. There is no Mortal Kombat that has ever existed that has even come close to how ridiculous grabs can be in terms of reward. Because if you look at Deception, you look at grabs that can infinite, grabs that can launch, grabs that can unintentionally OTG, like, you know, DARRIUS. Speaking of which, by the way, observe, get hit by one throw, be very silly as the AI and not break, and get sent into, God, I don't even know, the gap between realms? I don't even know. Anyone that's played the Conquest mode knows where this arena comes from. It's, you have to fight Monster, who is a NPC when you're putting down the Kamidogus. And it's SubZero next. SubZero, a lot more fun, I would say, in Armageddon than the other installments. If memory serves, I don't think SubZero was considered very strong in Deadly Alliance. I'm unsure about Deception, I will be completely honest. But Armageddon, I know that SubZero is much better. Much, much, much better. But again, story for another time. Now, the thing about DARRIUS is he's very simple. I did preemptively look up as many 3D DARRIUS combos as I could. And to be honest with you, a lot of his combos from a high level just stemmed from knocking the opponent on the floor and then hitting them with an OTG of some variety. Obviously, it has to be the right attack. Not everything will work as an OTG. DARRIUS's standing 3 in gauntlets, it kind of just so happens to have the right animation to pick them up. There are other moves you can end a combo with to do that. DARRIUS has all kinds of things that can make him really annoying in this game. You can do a down forward 3 dash punch ender, because that has a splat. If you're in the right position, you can walk up to the opponent and sidestep into a throw. Believe it or not, throws in this game are so good that even under the right circumstances, walk up sidestep throw is guaranteed. I'm going to assume it has something to do with, you know, how long it takes the opponent to correct to where you're standing and everything else. But so many guaranteed hits in this game do not look guaranteed. I think that's why Deception can be so confusing sometimes. Because there's so much in this game that just doesn't look real. But the fact that it is makes some characters just totally ridiculous. Now, SubZero's kind of kicking my ass here, but don't worry. You know, we're going to bring this one back. We're going to go for a cheeky little launch. At this point, we're just trying not to lose the game before we hit the final boss. And look away, arena trap. Bang. I hope this video doesn't get age restricted. That was a joke. That was a joke, I promise. Hilarious. Anyway, as we go into this next match, it's very similar to the... well, a couple of matches ago. Deception has a lot of arenas that are like a circle with hazards on the outside. You know, we have the sort of portal area. I'm not sure the exact name, even though we saw it merely a few minutes ago. We have this stage here, which, again, all the way on the outside, you have Death Trap. Quan Chi's Fortress is exactly the same. Falling Cliffs, I mean, probably the most iconic of the circular 3D MK arenas. If anyone ever grew up playing 3D Mortal Kombat, I think I don't even really need to mention Falling Cliffs because it's so good. Jade's beating me up, but a poor teleport, a badly timed teleport. You're going to get hit by the rest of the string and you're going to get hit by the ring out. Jade's teleport actually does lead to a infinite, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember correctly, it's something to do with Jade doing her throw, which is a launch, and she teleports behind you. And because she is not in front of you, as she meaties the throw as you stand up, I do believe that is guaranteed. Again, it goes back into the really weird nature of a meaty throw on the opponent's wake-up if you're off-axis. A fun fact about that infinite that Jade has is that Chameleon, in the Wii version of Armageddon, has Jade's throw and Jade's teleport. And what that means is Chameleon has the exact same infinite. And I think that's... I like that. I think that's really cool. Are we going to see anything like that in MK1? I don't know. I have no idea. We did see, though, that they confirmed Chameleon as a cameo, if I saw Twitter okay. I think there was some kind of press release almost where it was listing what's in Combat Pack 1. And it listed Chameleon as a cameo officially, which means good news, you know, because we saw Chameleon in the Lee May trailer, but we hadn't seen any gameplay, so, you know, is she going to be only in cutscenes? Is there going to be an element of NPC until she comes out for Combat Pack 1? You know, we saw the same thing for Tanya. But in this sub-boss, in Mortal Kombat Deception, it is Noob Smoke that is the sub-boss. And the thing about Noob Smoke is, they're a top 3 character, but only because they abuse unintended mechanics. If you remove those mechanics from the game, like their OTGs, free throws, which can lead to a throw infinite with Smoke, if you take those out of the equation, Noob Smoke is actually not a very good character. Extremely unsafe. And doesn't really offer much. There's not a huge amount of mix-ups there. The lack of safety is really apparent. It's just that when they hit you, they can essentially win the round on a single touch. And that is why they tend to be considered so unbelievably broken. Against the AI, you don't really have to worry about it. We're going to get more of that throw damage, launch, and miss out on the combo because this is the Sky Temple. I'd rather have had the combo there. I would have won the round. But yeah, if you're struggling against a sub-boss of Noob Smoke, the secret really, as silly as it sounds, is to block. I mean, look at how unsafe that move was. Most of the time when they do an attack, it is death on block. And because it's death on block, you can punish it. If you're DARRIUS, almost said Dairu there, wrong character. If you punish it with a throw, it's 50%. Every single time. And that OTG is not hard either. It's very, very easy. Now, I'm going to actually, spoiler alert here, I lose this first match, but I lose it in such a stupid way. I was only slightly salty. I was only slightly bothered by it, I promise. But the idea of fighting Onaga is you have to destroy the Kamidogus. I mean, you could in theory fight him without it. It's just he takes such a huge amount of reduced damage that you're going to be there forever. And he does so much damage to you that obviously it's not in your favor. The idea is that you destroy these Kamidogus, and as you can see, this first round, oh, it's going great, mate. It's going so good, this one. However, it all kind of falls apart very quickly. And I think if I remember correctly, my first mistake was forgetting the positions of the Kamidogus. And it puts me in a really weird situation. Now, if I remember correctly, I think I get the Kamidogu in the middle. And that's not good, because when you do that, you now have 2 other Kamidogus really far away from each other. And when they're really far away from each other, it takes ages to reach them. The longer it takes to reach them, the more time Onaga has to beat your ass, basically. So, we're going to get the second one. At this point, I've already taken tons of damage, so that's not good. And I'm just trying to fight as I get to it. And I'm like, oh, this is awful. This is awful. His grab's going to get me. There's the round. I've now got 1 round left, and I only have 1 Kamidogu. The manner of which I lose this, though, is so upsetting. Because I'm on it. I'm on it here. I'm trying to move. I can't move. He kicks me in the head. And I just get immediately hit by the ring out. And that's it. It was going so good. I go up against Onaga and I'm thinking, ah, yes. No lives lost, right? No games lost. Pretty good. Not too bad. And then disaster struck. But Onaga in this game, for me, is the best of the 3D Mortal Kombat bosses. Because it's the only one that, truthfully, feels like a boss fight. If you look at Deadly Alliance, Moloch is technically the boss because he's the hardest fight. If you don't know how to fight him properly, he's the character that you're going to get stuck against because obviously the final bosses of Deadly Alliance are the Deadly Alliance, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung, but they still operate like regular standard opponents. Blaze has a lot of the sort of gameplay DNA of Onaga in terms of the size of the character and even some of the buttons and the attacks. But there's nothing that really makes Blaze stand out. This fight, you've got the Kamidogus on the outside, you've got the damage, you've got the fact that he takes such little damage when you hit him without it. You have to enforce a little bit of strategy, and I like that. If there is a boss fight in a fighting game, and you can be a bit more strategic with it, that's the kind of thing that I enjoy. And I'm just, you know, rocking the 1, 2, 3, 4. In Shinto Ryu, it really is just 1, 2, 3, 4. With the other strings, I feel like if I tried to do 1, 2, 4, 4, 4 with weapon, I feel like the final hits would scale too much. And because I was just worried they were going to be punishable on hit. Against a super boss, you never really know how they're going to react to certain attacks. And if I've hit a Kamidogu here, you really don't want to waste it, because that small instance of higher damage is, as I said, small time frame. But that's Darius, and this is Mortal Kombat Deception. I've got more videos in the pipeline. I'm trying to get a bunch ready, as I'm going to be very, very busy very soon. But I thank you all for watching. Here's to the ending. And this was Darius in Mortal Kombat Deception. Take care.
The mercenary Dairu had succeeded in stealing the Declaration of Order and was paid many coins for his efforts. After Darius hid the document, he announced its capture to the world and heralded a new beginning for the realm of Sado. As Darius had predicted, officials were outraged that the Resistance had stolen the most prized possession of the Saidan government. Hotaru was ordered to lead the charge against them. He underestimated their numbers, however, and the Resistance defeated him and his men. The Senate would soon be in the hands of the revolutionaries.